Do it for the Vine. It's what they would have wanted. Yes, Vine, long since dead, but never forgotten. As that golden age of social media where everybody was happy. Oh yes, every time we think back on Vine, it's always summer. And the glasses we're wearing were always rose-tinted. Content creators were given but 6 seconds to provide the top-tier entertainment that we still reference today. And with those 6 seconds, boy, was history made. Quotes from popular Vines still find their place in the modern lexicon of 2023. It's amazing to think how a platform like Vine can die and a platform like TikTok is allowed to live. For such is the unfairness of the chaos that we live in. And before we get into these Vines, I would just like to very proudly say that this video is sponsored by PunkRave.ch. That's right, sponsored by an alternative clothing brand. And you guys know I have a long history of representing PunkRave in my videos and in music videos. Proud supporter of the brand, which is why I'm so happy to be working with them in a professional capacity. So you know that whenever I advertise PunkRave.ch to you guys, you know I mean it. So roll the clip. Get your 30% off PunkRave.ch discount code by signing up to the exclusive link in the bio below. Now let's react to some Vines. Take a trip down memory lane when the internet was far less hostile. Absolutely brilliant. Millennials just did it better.
What the f is up, Kyle? No, what did you say, dude? What the f, dude? Step the f up, Kyle.
Can we see his girlfriend or sister in the background here?
Say, dude? What the f, dude?
I'm still not well. White boy's about to go off up in here.
What it is? What's up? What's up? Got your in the cup. God damn. What it is? What it is?
I've never seen that one. That's new.
Let me hop out the Porsche, I don't wanna hit that.
Shut the up.
See, whenever I see TikToks trying to be funny, that's exactly what it is. TikTok is like trying to be funny. It's like TikTokers read in a book what comedy was and tried to put it into practice. That's what it reads like. Comedy on TikTok is like someone playing a song perfectly from tabs. You can literally hear the numbers coming out of the fingers. It's like paint by numbers, right? It definitely looks like the painting, but it's lacking any of the soul that an actual artist would have applied to the painting. TikTok comedy is just like, it's so void of any substance.
What's he do? Yes. What? Fake. One of my twists.
See, and another fantastic thing about Vine as well, there was no crappy lip syncing, especially no crappy songs that were being used, because TikTok songs are crappy. And what blows my mind is the fact that, like, these platforms seem to use the same 5 damn songs that suck, right? They suck. They're factory-made garbage songs. And then whenever you go out to the store, right, and they're playing music over the tannoy system, it's those songs again. Or whenever you get into a taxi, for example, or your phone doesn't connect to your car stereo, so it accidentally plays radio, and it's those songs again. I don't know about you, but if I've been swiping up on TikTok for the last 8 hours of my goddamn day, the last thing I want to hear is the same goddamn songs playing through the radio. Do you really want to hear this crap that often? God, no wonder music is dying a death because of how disposable it is. You guys find something that's not even good. You just find, you're given something. You are forced to listen to something that you're told is good. And then you have to listen to it over and over and over again in a million different mediums, coming out of a million different types of speakers, several times a day, sometimes just hearing the chorus, sometimes just hearing the verse, sometimes hearing just the same part of the song, the same 30 seconds of the song over and over again as you swipe through TikTok and Instagram, and then the song's dead, and then you have to find another one. People don't savor music anymore. So yeah, songs just meant more back in the Vine days because they didn't get destroyed.
Oh my god. Oh my god, he on X Games mode.
That's another classic soundbite. I think I still hear that today.
I'm in my mum's car. Broom, broom. Get out of my car. Aww.
Northerners, man. Northerners. Do you know there was a study done and people with northern accents like that, could have been Manchester, that could have been Hull or Bolton, could have been any of those places. There was a study done and apparently if you have a northern accent, you are more likely to be perceived as less intelligent. But then I started to think, I was like, that's ridiculous. And then I started to think about it. I was like, have I ever met a northern person or even heard a person with a northern accent say anything remotely intelligent? Because northern England is kind of like your southern states, you know, where shit gets super yokel. That's like our version of it. And the further north you go, especially when you get into Scotland, you will not be able to understand a word they're saying. Just so that I can prove this point here, Ross Kemp, and I believe this to be true, this is not something I've seen circulating on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter. This is from my own recollection, from my own personal experience. So I may be missing some certain factors here. We have an actor who's a bit of an odd man. His name's Ross Kemp, and he did a reality show based around like gangs of the UK or the toughest gangs, right? And the only gang he needed actual subtitles for. Remember, this is a UK demographic. People in the UK were watching this. This was not for Americans' sake. They had to put subtitles on for when they went to Scotland so you could understand what the hell they were saying.
That's life in Glasgow. I mean, we're not getting nothing there, we are, know what I mean? A stamp's been put on their heads now in this town now.
It's the same here in Northern Ireland as well. Some of the accent in this tiny little speck of an island can get so broad, it's difficult to understand a word they're saying. No wonder no good content comes out of here if everybody here sounds like this.
Jangle baby on a map, you want to thank me, baby, mon? Suck my cock from the road they are doing up.
It's almost as if Northern Irish people, when they were trying to formulate the accent here, were like, how could we make a monotone even worse?
Look at this graph.
Look at it. Oh, God.
Iridocyclitis.
The intensity. Spelling bees. Another thing we don't have here in the UK. America makes the weirdest things into competitions. Like, why compete at spelling things. And then also, in the same cultural breath, be the world leader, if not the originators, in participation trophies and not keeping score. How deliberately frustrating. Everything's a competition, but there's no winners. How perfectly apt.
Why the f you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God, stop lying.
That song plays in my head several times a day. Like, sometimes you just read stuff on Twitter. Like, half the time, I don't believe a single word people say. Tumblr was the worst for it, right? I like to call them hashtag never happened. Tumblr was so bad for hashtag never happened, right? As we all know, Tumblr is the breeding ground for, like, far left radical liberals. Like, you think you're democratic and liberal? Go on Tumblr. You will feel like a right-wing Republican within 10 minutes of reading the absolute filth that is on there. And I'm not talking about not safe for work, because that's on there too. By filth, I mean like the sheer degeneracy of garbage that can come out of the human brain, transfer through the fingers, and be sent into a Tumblr post. It's like, you can't possibly think this. And you also can't possibly think other people also want that. But like, a lot of the stuff that would happen would be like, oh, right-winger gets owned. And it's like, there's no proof. There's no testimonials. It's purely just this one person being like, so, like, this trans kid was in class, and then the teacher comes in, and he's just being a bigot. And then the trans kid says this. And it's like a huge thought out soapbox paragraph that this kid who doesn't exist never said to the teacher who also doesn't exist. And it's purely just like a fantasy that played out in this psycho's brain when they were trying to think of ways to get back at the right. And they were like, oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Let me post that for some reason. Speaking of Tumblr, it was also a cesspit for people getting themselves pissed off for, and hear me out here, for actually no reason at all. Do you have an example of this, Jake Monroe? Can you back up this claim? Yes, I can. Does everyone remember people were talking about Scarlett Johansson playing Mulan in the Mulan remake movie that was coming out? Does everyone remember that? It actually left Tumblr and went on to Twitter, and people, without source checking anything, and you're like, how can people be so stupid? People will actually read something or be told something about someone or something like a movie and just believe it without fact-checking anything. We could sure avoid some awkward moments if people did that these days. In the age of misinformation, people still don't do this. They're still not fact-checking. They're just believing it at face value. Did you know this person did this? No way, I believe it completely. You think you're one of the different people, you've probably done it. There was a rumor going around Scarlett Johansson was going to play Mulan in the new Mulan remake movie. You know, because it was a joke at the time that Scarlett Johansson was taking all the roles of POC actors, you know, like whitewashing. Hollywood was whitewashing. So someone took it upon themselves on Tumblr. And I remember seeing the post, like the original post, the post that made people pissed off. And I actually followed the link to the person that made it. And they had absolutely no ties to the production of the movie or the casting at all. They were just a random person. I then went and Google searched this extensively to see if there was any ties to Scarlett Johansson playing Mulan. There's nothing. Because of course they weren't going to do that. But people read this on Tumblr, believed it immediately, and then made it their entire personality for about 3 years. But then, of course, you know, Scarlett Johansson did not end up playing Mulan. And instead, there were other things that we should have been way more pissed off about that actually did end up in that movie. Or should I say, did not end up in that movie. Thanks, China, bloody homophobes.
White girls like, OMG, look at me. Instagram selfie, pumpkin spice, Starbucks size, Ugg boots in 80 degrees.
Instagram selfie. Oh my god. Dead. It's dead, man. Instagram selfie's dead. It's over. Only millennials post selfies now. Try and say the word selfie to anyone under the age of 20. They'll be like, what?
Photo. No.
Hi.
Okay.
What a remarkable response to hi. I'm not saying anything to hi is also an acceptable response. It's like, hi. Not a word is said, but it is an acceptable response. Even if you don't speak English, your best bet is just to parrot the word. But like, your response being okay, I think is probably the best response. It's the best response to hi ever. Because hi is a proposition for interaction in some way, right? It's almost inquisitive, like, how are you, right? Hi is like an informal, like, hi, we're about to converse. The best way to completely shut that down is just, okay. Hi. Okay.
Wow.
And now they're married. It's not true. That's just headcanon.
Sudden.
What is that though? Dude, like what is that face? And what is, it's exclusively white though, right? Because black folks are way cooler than that. What is, because we all know the face he's doing, but what is it?
I'm John Cena!
It's amazing how John Cena still permeates as a person of importance these days. Still.
Disney Channel. White girl, it wasn't Miley Cyrus, her name was Liz.
Lizzie McGuire?
Lizzie McGuire.
LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James.
Cat Sweet Boy does stuff like that. In fact, he says words in a, he's 3.5, turning 4 soon, and he's developing a personality as a lot of kids do around this age. And he's sort of playing around with pronunciations and saying things. And he talks in that kind of way, and it's the funniest thing ever. To the point where like me and Kat will walk around the house and just quote him to each other when he's not even around. Remember, he was lying on the bed one day when we were like play wrestling, and he like looks me dead in the eyes and gets this weird face on, and he goes, "Look at my Bible," and I still quote it to this day because I laughed so hard. Oh man, life was so much simpler back then. And here is the first Vine I ever saw.
Go suck a dick, suck a dick, suck a motherfucking dick, suck a dick, suck a huge or small.
Yeah, that was the first Vine I ever saw, and I laughed so freaking hard. That's comedy, right? It's clearly funny. The guy's singing beautifully, by the way. Suck a dick. Even on paper, it's funny.
I love you, bitch.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I ain't gonna never stop loving you, bitch.
I wonder if he ever stopped loving her. Bitch.
True, I'm not good at a one-night stand. Yeah.
You kill me, girl, exo. I should be over all the butterflies.
A bunch of people singing. For reals. They're not lip syncing, kids. They're actually singing. I would love to see some alt TikToks of kids actually singing their favorite songs. That'd be really cool. But as we all know, no one has any talent anymore. No, it was all sucked out of them when they decided to be iPad kids and saw that there's no point in trying to be good at anything because there's always going to be someone better than you. Wasn't being ignorant of that fact actually beneficial to you growing up as a creative? Not knowing that no matter how much you practice, no matter how good you are at something, how passionate you are about something, how much time you put into it, there's always going to be someone better. And even if you are the best, how long for? Someone's gonna come along and do it better than you. And they're gonna be younger and thinner and hotter than you. You just have to accept it. But nowadays, from the second you first get an internet connection, essentially whenever your fingers start working to use an iPad, you can immediately see how many people are better than you. And it's quantified using numbers. So you can see numerically how much better they are than you with the amount of views, shares, comments. How wonderfully bolstering that must be for your confidence. Oh yeah, sure. I bet they're super confident now to share their guitar learning journey when the only people that the internet cares about are the most talented at that thing, of which you will never be. And on that note, thank you guys so much for tuning in this video. I've been Jake Monroe. Don't forget to check out punkrave.ch, link down below in the bio if you want to get a 30% discount. I had a great day today because I made it a great day, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.